effects. Maybe see with them, or well, see against them how that's going to pan out and if that might be a bit, better for them, so to speak.
You've put some money on towards HELLRAISERS for, of course, our very nice Fido.gg caster clash. How are you feeling? Are you saying, well, I'm winning some money? Are you gaining some ground?
Yeah, I'm actually gaining. I'm feeling pretty confident. The map 1 correct score, I think that there's a solid chance that that one's going to hold as well. I predicted 2-0 for HELLRAISERS, and I think that might continue. Not sure about the number of rounds, actually. I said under 22.5. So that means...
For map 2?
For map 2. For map 1, actually.
Oh, for map 1 you are correct.
Yeah,
because there were 21 in total, so that's actually quite nice. And you made some money for the community, possibly.
Finally.
Of course, we're now going back towards the knife, and you left my fist bump hanging, so I had to do it myself. No, you'll never get it in return. It's going to be Sensei just going for the knife quite aggressively. That's not really a very clever strategy. As, of course, on this knife, you have to do it a little bit as a team. And... this means that we would expect HELLRAISERS to then most likely start on the CT side if they want to. And oh boy, they want to. And this might mean that, well, Crazy once more will have to face off on their least favorite side. Have to be able to counter against, of course, a very strong pistol power from HELLRAISERS, as we've seen before. But I'm not sure if they will be able to. Their resistance so far has been far from ideal. And now they will have to try to play it out. And HELLRAISERS is that stronger team statistically. But they just need to also make it work to at least give us a good sense and, of course, a good amount of money to give away in the caster clash.
Exactly. No, that's what we like to do the most. And, I think that HELLRAISERS, they now again, starting on their preferred side, this could bode very well for HELLRAISERS. And spell out or bode very negatively for Crazy. And I'm afraid that that's what we'll see happen here.
JR having that smoke actually to help himself out on towards the short area. Watching out as we now see Kalinka being flashed out, yet Crazy doesn't really commit too much on towards a push. It seems like they're going for an A-split for themselves. And, well, that could work, that could help. Yet there's 2 players at car, and do they have a molly? Yes, Toxic has one. But will he throw it to that right direction, or will he try to sense out something at short? Yes, he will. He throws it on short, and that means still James is here, and he has a support player who's not peeking whatsoever. JR, first frag. Now still on the ledge, might actually go for a drop, and indeed he will. Back towards CT he goes. Yeah, there's still so many players, actually 4 players on the side of HELLRAISERS. That's now 1 goes down, but James still able to get another one in return on towards Psycho. That means now Toxic and Surgis both go down. Also, Sensei, the only player alive, has that P250. He's that raid boss. But look at the black. There's already 1 player moving in. That's a problem, as Sensei now has 2 kills. Yet the flank will soon come in. However, it's not even necessary. Lime will get the last kill as well. A 1-0 for HELLRAISERS. And yet again, they win the pistol, just like we've seen so far already happening.
Yeah, that could be the consistent start for HELLRAISERS once again that they need. But hey, it is only the pistol round. You could say there's an element of random chance there. Crazy, however, are now going for the, well, sensible option, you could say. The save, it seems to be, with only 1 flashbang in the hand of Psycho. So I expect some sort of team play here, and that flash being tactically used onto a side push somewhere. And now with a little train here, heading towards short perhaps. Oh, that was a little leg tag, and oh no! Through the door, DemQQ gets finished off by JR. That is just, well, that is just a negative start. Oh, run boost.
Well, you have to try something to at least phase off against JR as well. Another player will chime in on towards mid. JR with yet another peek and yet another tag. Line will come in, gets a frag on towards Toxic, and that means now we have 2 low HP players. Make that 1, as they eventually all will fall. A clean round for HELLRAISERS. Making money. You're putting in some live bets. What's actually happening there?
I may actually, I'm putting in on under 25 rounds, and I also just put in, I believe, I'm going to have to actually check again.
2-0 for HELLRAISERS?
No, but I've got the memory of a goldfish. Oh yeah, the total number of maps, just to be certain there.
Under 2.5. Yeah, seems like a very capable choice at this moment in time. Pretty safe one.
It's the small things, right? I don't know if you've ever got that when you're at the store, and they not that much anymore nowadays because who still uses cash, but when they give you back something like 5 cents and someone just says like start of $1 million or something.
Oh, I truly couldn't care less because I just always forget to spend my change. Just now, well, we see JR being expended. Say clean kill coming in from DemQ, at least a good opener for Crazy on their buy round. Yeah, they need to have a little bit of more. Well, more kills, more success, more rounds. And of course, possibly a map to bring it in towards a third. That would be actually Train. Looking at the map statistics, or at least win rates for these teams. Crazy, 37%. HELLRAISERS, 52%. Yet so far it seems, especially looking at the previous map, the map pick of Crazy, which was Nuke, there's a very good chance we will go to a 2-0. With now actually a B take to come in. Only one player standing by at car.
Oh, but Flarich.
Flarich is standing by. He's waiting for a flashbang or at least the smoke to dissipate. The moment they push through, he will come in the back, and it seems like Problem is having some problems, but still gets a first frag. Now he has to hide. Gets another one from range, and third one as well! His MP9 is doing the work, and now we have a retake already coming in before the bomb has been planted. Toxic, however, will get a three-man spray. Now that is a first round for Crazy. A very good turnaround. Yeah, that round should have really gone the way of HELLRAISERS, and they should have not gone that aggressively. Should have waited for the bomb plant sound to actually come in, because then you know it will be a 3v1. But still, let's have a look at Problems. His 3K. First one, alright. Then he has only got 14 bullets left, and 6 for the next. And how does he even manage to do that?
Yeah, but I'm just completely surprised. I mean, hey, well played by Crazy, right?
Oh, yes.
They deserve to be commended here. Honestly, we shouldn't put them down too much, and if they just keep this up now, if they can maybe throw a bit of a turnaround into it and show that they might actually be, well, improved on Dust 2, I think is the most important thing to say. We've seen it in the past that teams really do play better, you know, they show up on those other maps. They show up on the maps that statistically look worse for them. So who knows, this could perhaps be the chance that Crazy is actually grabbing, the opportunity that they're taking, so to speak. But I'd still want to see it to believe it. Right now, it's only been one round that Crazy has achieved, and I need to see much more from them. I know I'm asking for much. Maybe my expectations are high, you know, I don't, but I just have to be realistic. Yeah.
Well, I do, feel a little bit of confusion about this buy from HELLRAISERS. You hear it by my doubting in my speech. 2 glass cannon AWPs, 2 FAMAS with armor, and then a deagle armor from Flarich. It could work. They just need to get the kills in. And, well, they deal some damage, and they see some heads go by, but they're not holding the appropriate angles, you dare to say, but GR now going low. 4 HP, first kill in favor of HELLRAISERS. And they're moving in as well, now holding towards short, because they're expecting a player to come from there. Flarich just managed to get that kill. That might actually be a turnaround, because they then have a rifle to work with. Kalinka now takes out one. Flarich as well, as it will be a refrag, because one of his teammates dies. Make that 2 teammates have fallen. Last gun AWP for Problem. 1 player still in pit with, I do believe, that SG. But now it's also Flarich trying to move up, having that smoke to work with. Also a Galil rather than the AWP. Actually, Problem is, or Sensei is moving up rather, as he does go down. It's a Psycho falling to Problem. 1v1 is going to be Flarich having an inferior weapon, but also no time left to work with. At least he saves the AWP. At least he deals some damage towards the side of Crazy. There's going to be an equal score. And I do believe, or actually I'm quite sure, we haven't seen this before in the previous map.
Absolutely, and who knows, right? Even if it might be a repeat, I think if HELLRAISERS utilizes it, or well, if Crazy utilizes this and they start building on a bit of their streak now, they keep this going, they're actually going to be consistent play through, then honestly, they do just need that good start. You know, they just need to show up. They need to have their moment, so to speak. Also, the UI is testing us for a moment. That's always fun to see.
It's magic.
Yeah.
Things happening as well. We do see once more a force buy from HELLRAISERS, just the way they like it. AWP on towards the AR actually has some armor to go with, but yet he already lost some health as well as Flarich and Problem have. Pistols in hand, 1 FAMAS. Well, decent utility. But of course, it's going to be quite hard for the side of course, HELLRAISERS to get back in towards this one. If they do manage to win the round, it's going to be dreadful for Crazy, because they don't have any money whatsoever, losing all players in the previous. And JR tries to still contest on towards long. There will be a scout from Sensei. 1 tag could do the trick, as the utility will fly in. Toxic with the opening kill. Clean headshot on towards the upper of the HELLRAISERS side. Cross to be smoked off. A little bit of pre-fire. There's still a player on towards side of Flarich in towards the flares of the fire. But Lime will take one in return on towards DemQ. There was a flanker somewhere in towards the B apps. As we now see Psycho actually get one on towards Flarich. No kill to come in. And this might indicate that HELLRAISERS would go for a save, yet they're still trying to contest. And why is Sensei moving away from this long corner? He moved away, moved back, luckily, to get a kill on towards Lime. And now the rest of the team will maybe go for a little bit of a cheeky peek. But Kalinka making noise will then fall back and then go back again to possibly do something. Yet these weapons with a eco round in the next should of course help them to possibly deal a little bit of damage and then finally start winning again in the next round.
And winning is what, well, I guess they do need to do, but that goes for both teams. I'm just kind of starting to worry here, I suppose. Not only, you know, for HELLRAISERS, but also a little bit for my bets, of course. The things that I put in. Of course, I also, one of the things that I did put in was under, let me check again, 22.5 rounds. So that's still possible. Just
You put under
to
25.5 for this map.
Yeah.
So that's actually quite decent.
Yeah, but it's a solid one.
You just gotta believe.
You just gotta believe, but I don't know. Like right now, I expected HELLRAISERS to show up way more consistently at the start, like they did on Nuke. You know, especially considering that this is their map pick.
But it's partially due to them forcing, of course. They had a AWP. They figured, oh, we can just as well buy around him because if JR gets one kill, maybe a second,
Zeus.
it would be nice. As indeed, JR has that Zeus, but I'm not really sure if a teeny tiny bit of his taser was actually also showing. Because he moved up just possibly a little bit too far. DemQ getting close, has that Karambit. We have one here as well.
Yep.
As he's now standing by, possibly going for the usual smoke to cover off Xbox. But as Sensei is moving up, there's no real reason to, because of course they want to get that control themselves and try to move up. Nades to come in. Of course, they know they're up against an eco, so the damage will be quite significant. But so far, HELLRAISERS playing it rather slowly. And they're just hoping that Crazy might make a mistake once again.
It is the best thing to hope for if you're on an eco. You know, you want to utilize your opponent's mistakes if they do make any. They don't always play it perfectly. They don't always play it as cleanly as they should. But you do see that sometimes they do create these opportunities for you. And I think that's the best thing HELLRAISERS can hope for at the moment. If they have something that goes well for them, you'll see that they might be able to at least deal some decent economy damage. And that they would make the best out of it. Maybe get an upgraded weapon, you know, an AK here or there. It's going to be better for their reserves as well. Kalinka here, for example, should be the headshot angle, but he doesn't really manage to connect anything. Goes down by the hands of DemQQ and Surges. J-Lime, though, he gets one, but it is only the one, and rather quickly, HELLRAISERS gets shot to bits here. Flarich doesn't even manage to connect that last shot. It was close, incredibly close, but Crazy get their 4th round, and well, HELLRAISERS, they now have this opportunity for a comeback, but they're going to have to really work on it.
Well, it seems like we're waiting for HELLRAISERS to finally buy in, and this will be the round. And this will be their first real buy round, of course, after Crazy started doing some crazy stuff. But they now need to also step up, because if they don't, it's going to be hard. JR once more on the glass cannon AWP, of course, not really the best situation to be in. One player only going towards the B areas. There will be a lot of utility flying towards the A. Long doors. But so far, no challenge. Nothing happening. Just a little bit of a wait going on from either party. Yet short control gained by the side of Crazy. And they're really trying to put down some pressure, hoping to finally get things going. And I'm looking at the Vital GG stats, and they're saying there's an 82% chance of winning for HELLRAISERS. As JR is holding a more passive angle of the AWP than normally, having problem with him as well, as they're now flashing in. And there's a lot of players here on towards short. He's holding a little pixel towards possibly a head to pop up if a player will uncrouch. But will they have a hunch? Will they have researched this position and will throw a nade? Because that would be great. There's the first kill. Jared clean headshot on towards Toxic. That's the opener. And now Crazy is slowing down. They're doubting. And they don't know where to go from this point on.
And doubt is always risky. You should be rather consistent, and you should be pretty solid about your idea, your plan. And you do know, like, when a team starts doubting their actions, it's almost like you can see them being less committed to what they're doing. You know, you can see them being uncertain. You can see the pushes not being as clean as they should. Utility does fly in now. DemQQ here. He manages to jump down. Could get into long control now. He does. JR, Flarich, a problem. They all go down. And Crazy seems to reign supreme As with that, HELLRAISERS are a 2 versus 4 situation. Very tough for them to handle. They might even call the save here, to be quite honest. Would be the sensible option.
Well, it seems like Crazy at least doing something in return, and they're now actually in a very sensible and good position. Also building economy, destroying HELLRAISERS, their momentum, and of course now also their real big first buy round. This might mean that, well, HELLRAISERS will be struggling, and so far it seems like they are. A little bit of a hunt coming down from the side of Crazy, going on towards CT. Good flash. Yeah, DemQ will be more flash than Kalinka will be. So that's one more exit. If they get 2 more, that would be great. Yet Crazy says, we'll just give you that one, and we're going to save whatever we can. 5-2 will be the scoreline. And Crazy already doing a bit better than on the previous map, equalizing their score, which they had on towards Nuke. But still, they need to keep this on for a longer time, whereas HELLRAISERS, I would assume, in this round, would possibly go for pistol armor around the weapons they have, yet they're doubting. Of course, they could also drop 2 weapons, then have 2 players buy their armor in the utility along with it, and JR possibly on the scout. That would still be a decent buy. Yet it's a risk, and I think they really need to bank on those full buy rounds. Finally, getting an AWP with armor on towards JR, because that's not really happened so far.
Yeah.
And, well, it's a waiting game.
Especially
a issue coming out of Fink, or maybe a tactical.
Probably a tactical, I'd assume, although I did hear some chat noises, so that could be a technical.
Clickety-clack?
Clickety-clack. Well, I do want to, what you do say is definitely a solid point. JR, for example, without that armor, you can see it as well. It was, I believe, when he was pushing A short, he did get a frag there on one of the Crazy players, but problem then is, he gets like 1 or 2 shots at him, and he's immediately already almost
like the aim punch is just
is
dealing loads, and DemQ indeed flanked as he pushed for CT and actually saw the player stand by on long, actually holding the wrong angle. But like the player just smells so much easier without any armor. Now we see Toxic taking down Lime as well. That's, well, one of the rifles gone for the HELLRAISERS side. Flair's trying to bring it back with Deagle. He will get a crazily good 1-dig, but the problem is his opponents are already moving towards the A side. And they will have the control in no time whatsoever.
And that is risky for them. 4v4 is what we see now. There is a little bit of damage on both sides. You've got Flourish, who's tagged down to 73. But then on the Crazy side, you can see Psycho and DemQ both with at least 10 health points of damage, at least 11 even. Psycho with a little bit more. DemQ now, though, stuck in that molly. He does have to do the spray down, but he doesn't succeed. Kalinka takes him down. Circus can refrag it, though, along with Psycho, who takes out JR. It's a bit of a close round, but the bomb is already ticking so fast that HELLRAISERS don't stand a chance anymore without a defuse kit to even get onto the site and actually take them out. A shame, but the harsh reality.
But if you're looking at what went wrong there, you see first that Molly come in. There's only 1 player committing. And there's also a player pushing in towards CT, but there's 2 players, Flourish and Problem, they're still sending in the smoke. They're not doing anything at that time, whereas the rest of his team is already dying. They should commit as well, and that's something we've seen on Nuke from either party. Sometimes not really committing on either a retake or a push to come in, and as you can see, it really hurts you and really grinds you to a halt. Now we do see a full buy coming in from HELLRAISERS as well, so we would expect them to play a little bit better in towards this one. Having an AWP and armor on JR, crazy to think of that.
Wow.
As well, there will also be an AWP on towards Kalinka, usually a Rifler. As problem was that secondary upper on towards Nuke, but now they have to face a mid push to come out. Kalinka with the first frag will actually collect Toxic, then slow it down with an incendiary of his own. And now we do see the 5-4, a little bit of a waiting game as Crazy tries to sense where the other players will be playing and where they could actually make their mark. I would recommend, however, not to go towards short because they are standing there with the AWP.
And that is a bit of a danger, that's not a risk that you're willing to take. That double AWP so far working well, but JR, or J-Lime even tries to peek in but doesn't end up succeeding as Sensei takes him out. Equalizes it like that, makes it a 4v4 again. And well, HELLRAISERS, I don't know if I can say that they're playing sloppy, but Crazy have just seemingly found their fragging potential and are really showing up now on Dust 2.
And Dust 2 actually a map they haven't played all too often, according to HLTP. As now players will see the shadow come in, but DemQ shoulder stepping away, and he will get the frag in. JR tries to do something in return, will get a good wallbang on towards Sensei, but then flicks too far to the left. And that means we now have a 4-2-2, and there will be some utility to hold off that cross, and also the bomb will be thrown over. Meaning that most likely HELLRAISERS once more on a save. And a 7-2 seems to be coming for the side of Crazy, as Linka already moving back with the AWP, actually got the opening kill with it. From that point onwards, HELLRAISERS didn't really do all too much. He actually saw them also maybe overstepping. Lime peeking in towards mid, having no support whatsoever. You'd maybe expect Kalinka to peek with him, yet there wasn't anyone. Then on towards the long doors. Only our good friend, our good anchor, Flair standing by. And well, that was an easy frag as well. Crazy. If he would have had a frag, would have been able to refrag no problem whatsoever as well.
Yeah, it feels like HELLRAISERS can't really maintain their control, I suppose is a good way of putting it. And without that, it's kind of hard, of course, to really, well, not let the bomb sites go to your opponent. And right now, Crazy, you know, their opponent obviously is actually starting to get close to a potential first half advantage. If they get this round now, and I have to admit, I do think that HELLRAISERS is yeah, they do have a full loadout. So they will have equal odds as Crazy do. But still, like, oh no, actually there is armor on JR this time again. Good.
You were a little bit scared, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought I was expecting it again, you know. Well, point being, you know, they do have that equal facing off against each other. Both have equipment, armor, etc., utility. And the question is, will HELLRAISERS now be able to deny it? Will they be able to, you know, make sure that Crazy doesn't actually make, get the advantage over them? You know, that would be a... J-Line?
He's actually moved all the way across Suicide right now. Yet Crazy is standing around that A-long area. One player currently in mid. He might be a nuisance later on, as he's now currently at those double doors, waiting for a player to possibly flank through short. So far, HELLRAISERS not really committing on towards that angle, but Kalinka might be able to be destroyed later on as J-Lime slowly moving, and he needs to move a little bit faster because the moment that execute goes in, the player in pit might actually be watching towards his angle. Flair is currently in the smoke, waiting, biding his time, still trying to play the smart game, and he's being flashed out. It's going to be a problem with the first kill towards DemQ. It's going to be Flairage also still on side, and there will be the flank. Line will go down. It's Flairage with first. Will we get a second? No. It's Surgates with a very quick refrag. Now you still have that AWP on towards long, but he's moving in slowly on towards JR. But will there be a flashbang? No, JR with a very good wallbang, but it's not enough as Sensei has a clean shot on towards him. Flashbang from Merlin. Problem trying to move up, but still it's going to be such a hard round. They have to either move in or fall back, and again, they seem to be saving two weapons. Again, having a very big loss bonus, and you hear the frustration of the spam of Kalinka. Once more taking the AWP with him, but this round should have been better. Lime would have been able to had a kill against Sensei, but he was too slow. Flairage, he got one. Good tag on towards the second, but where was the pressure from short? Nobody was helping him out. The moment he was going for that second kill, the player was moving out quite far to the left. If a player from short would have been peeking, say Problem, who was later on at Berlin, that would have been a instant kill. Even a trade would be nice, but there wasn't a trade. And JR going for a 1v1, of course. He was a little bit unlucky with the wall being in his way. Of course, well, then Sensei played it better. 8-2. Crazy doing really well on the T side.
Absolutely. Crazy now has that one round advantage as a guarantee. HELLRAISERS still struggling with 2 rounds, and maybe it's overconfidence. Maybe they're just thinking, you know, we know this is Crazy. We can deal with these guys. We can beat them. We've got this. But clearly this time around, they really don't seem to have it at all. Crazy, of course, 6 rounds ahead of them now. We are starting to get towards the tail end of the first half, and HELLRAISERS every time is going to have to really utilize the opportunities and create them, make them for themselves, and with that actually get back to that advantage. You know, they can't get an advantage in the first half anymore, but of course there's still potential for them to open it out in the second one, to on their T side really show up, to really show Crazy that they might just be, you know, the team.
Well, Sensei is holding an angle, expecting a player to push through the lower tunnel, but Lime is just going across short. Will he be able to catch players off? Sensei will go down. Lime now falls back. Clean slate so far, no damage being taken. And as there was a pistol on the side of Sensei, it could have actually been a frag because there was no head armor on towards the CT player. Still, it's a 5-on-4. However, We've seen many of opening kills gone in favor of Hellraisers, yet they lost a round. And they need to play it out a little bit stronger this time. JR going aggressive with the AWP. Will have some support from 2 players. Rumbu's coming in. Well, you can't really run, or at least Psycho can't anymore because he's being killed by JR. Flashbang coming in. The player is still playing close. And, well, JR now flashing in his teammate as DemQ goes down as well. It's going to be that 5-2 situation. This might be, or, well, this should be their 3rd round soon to follow. But then, for some unknown reason, they leave open the B side entirely, and problem now falling back. But why is my question?
Because they have such blind faith in Problem and Kalinka to hold it off. Surgis goes down, Toxic has to fall back into tunnels, and, well, I hope that at this point he's going to call the save, because, you know, you might as well keep that weapon for yourself. There's no chance in hell that you are, well, in hell or against Hellraisers, that you are going to, you know, get a 1v5 and clutch that out completely.
Well, Toxic now keeping his AK in hand, most likely going to save it because their loss bonus is only $1,400, and saving armor is almost already dead. The AK is almost double dead, and still having some utility to work with also helps. That means in the next round, of course, Crazy, having saved up a little bit from the past few, being able to buy quite easily. A few players before this round started on 10,000 or more, and now we only have Surges on it. But still, if they lose yet another round, they can buy again and possibly buy again. And if they get plants in, they can
buy again.
Oh my god.
Wow. It's
vicious
madness.
cycle.
Yeah. It's, well, a vicious cycle, or it's just a bad outlook for Hellraisers, and just shows that, Kalinka there, I believe, wallbang, I guess, through the doors. Yep. And that is just a nasty start of the round for them. JR now forced back. The molly could have delayed a little bit at least. Gets cancelled out by smoke now. And the rest of Crazy going through that long position. It is down to JR to really hold it off. There's no one directly with him on the bomb site. Only have that one player there towards short. And J Lime here in tunnels.
In the meantime, Crazy just wants to play it slowly as they always do. And so far, there hasn't been a push from Lime, so that's a little bit comforting, to say the least.
A little.
Yet, B tunnels control gained by Hellraisers, and look at this gamble rotate. All the players going to either mid or towards A, and then they're doubting themselves. They're like, well, let's have another cheeky peek, and Lime is moving in, saying, oh no, it actually is clear. And then you see another player just go back towards A. It's a little bit of a, well, I don't know if we should know this, but I think they're trying to fake us, but they're not. And then we do see the spray coming down from Kalinka. AK in hand, there will be players on side or at least close by. Flarage currently at Merlin, but there will be a molly on towards short. And JR will be flamed almost to death as Kalinka goes down. Flarage still here waiting for that bomb plant sound to come in, but will he be able to contest? As another player, of course, also downing for Hellraiser. And look at Toxic. That's a 1 and that's a 2. And this should be the round done and dusted as Flarage is just standing by. Almost alone, so 15 seconds and an easy frag for Surgis. 9-3. And Crazy really surprising us as of now.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel almost guilty now for saying how clear this must have been or must have become.
Yeah, how could you?
Yeah, clearly now. I'm such BM, such a biased caster, yada, yada, yada. Seriously, though, you know, Hellraisers, their track record against Crazy, and Crazy's, of course, you know, their results against Hellraisers, they were all boding such a negative image. And I believe on Dust 2, it was also 16-5 in favor of Hellraisers. So close matches, or close maps even. And it really painted the picture of Crazy going to lose this now. Like, there wasn't going to be much of a chance that Hellraisers were going to really give this up. But right now, it's actually seriously starting to look like that.
In the meantime, Sensei with his AWP trying to guide his team to victory once more, but it's going to be DemQ. Tagged up by a wallbang, I believe, by the AWP, but also JR going low as he tries to move around. Sensei will be flashed out of position, and it's JR looking at the top of mid, but he knows he can't contest anymore, because the moment he's being spotted out, there will be either nades flying his way, or just a whole lot of shots from both the AWP and the AKs of Crazy, as they are once more going for an A take. B seems not really their favorite so far, as Lime standing with a knife in his hand, at least able to move a little bit faster, yet shooting doesn't really go too well for Karambit on range.
Yeah, you would maybe expect, right, from a Ukrainian team to prefer the B site more, but surprise, surprise. HELLRAISERS now, they hold on to their 5 people in the team, but at this point, it is a very slow play. We can see a little bit of damage on some of the crazy plays. They've still got plenty of utility to work with. So...
Ooh, JR just shooting in between 2 players, trying to peek him out. Flair's currently in pit, will now be mollied as well, so he's currently back. As Lime will get 1 before being traded out by Psycho. There will be the push coming in. Will they actually spot out the player in towards pit? No, Flourish takes 2. As Toxic now takes down 1, but JR still alive. Now 1v2 for Sergis. Actually carrying that AWP and now also getting a kill towards JR. Making it back in towards a 1-on-1, but the time has run out. And Crazy took too long, but still they're 9-4 ahead. And, well, I'm a little bit scared for HELLRAISERS because they seem so dominant, so strong on the CT side of Nuke. Yet they were once again able to pick what side they want to start on, and they're not really, well, coming off too hot at this moment in time. Maybe on their T side they will be able to string together a few more rounds. But I think it's also due to Crazy being able to manage their opponent's economy really good. And HELLRAISERS, especially at the start, going for some crazy force buys.
Most certainly so, and, well... Now that is an interesting long control tactic. It's Stem QQ that does punish JR in tunnels.
Oh,
in the meantime.
why does he push? That's just my own question.
He's a madman.
He's indeed a madman. That's the AWP of HELLRAISERS gone. And was there really a reason to go this aggressively?
I find it. I wouldn't know. I can't say that it's HELLRAISERS that at times they pull interesting tactics, but it hurts more when they do it now. When
there was a big boom somewhere around us, so we were a little bit scared by that, especially.
I mean, we're still live, so as long as it's not one of the production computers that exploded, we're good, right?
I'm not sure if they're exploding parts in computers anyway. There's a B-execute coming down. They have finally agreed to our terms as Kalinka gets 1 and then goes, oh, I get a flashbang, I get a second, I get a third as well. Psycho will get 1 in return, but then there will be Lime and Problem having a very good flank in, and it will be 9-5. HELLRAISERS doing really well. And, well, it seems like Crazy is slowly losing some of their momentum. Still the odds in favor of HELLRAISERS, crazily enough. And it seems that, according to Final GG, there's a 76% chance for HELLRAISERS to at least win the series. And of course, possibly a little bit less on towards this map, but still it seems like they're now doing quite well. And I'm curious to see how their T-side will be. If they will be able to contest early on, it will be nice. Crazy are winning their aim duels, and especially Sensi with the AWP has just been quite strong so far.
Yep, and with that, I do wonder, you know, HELLRAISERS, the really rapid-paced round that we just saw from them there, that's the kind of stuff that you really want to see them pull off more often, you know? Even though they might be on the CT side, they can still use that speed as an advantage and really push and, well, push or sometimes even pull through. Depends on, you know, what figure of speech you want to use. HELLRAISERS now, you would say that they have a solid chance at least making this a 6-9, which would mean that they have a 3-round deficit to get over in the second half. That's manageable. At the same time, though, take a look at Crazy. Look at how well they've really been executing and playing off this T side. That is something that HELLRAISERS has been, well, really lacking so far, you know, on this CT side. They've not been able to pull it off quite as well. They've not been able to really, well, show up, I'd say. And that is a shame for the expectations that we had of the team, for what they showed on Nuke 1 map ago.
Well, utility flying as DemQ is moving up towards long. We see Flairage moving again quite aggressively on towards short, but there is Sensei standing by with the WP. Sergey's also now holding the angle, but he moved off at the wrong time because Problem has just moved up and Sensei has now seen him as well. In towards Suicide goes Problem, but mid they will move out, and Kalinka once more just doing the work. The rest of the crazy side will try to go towards long, but indeed a very good flash comes in from JR. Lime just has another kill. It's a 4-on-2 and they just don't know where Problem is as of yet. He's currently in Suicide waiting and just messing with the minds of his opponent.
Yeah, honestly, I think Crazy, they might have well, they can pretty much call this round a throwaway, so to speak, which means that they've still got the 3-round advantage that they're going into, you know, the second half with. That's just...
Sergis is checking the angle, and I'm hoping he will commit for the peak, and I think he will. Yes, he will.
He does.
But it's like, if he would have, it seemed as if he wanted to move past. And if he wanted to move past, well, he would have died, and it would have been a round easily done and dusted.
Maybe even a knife.
Oh, maybe even a knife.
That would have been interesting,
It
right?
would be lovely.
Absolutely delightful. But that isn't what it ended up being, and the timer goes further down. You can see that right now, Crazy only has less than, well, half a minute left, 25 seconds even, and they're going to have to get onto a bomb site soon enough. Sensei could get a frag here, depending though. The smoke is there, and I thought that play was a bit closer up. Doesn't look like it though. Molly now is thrown well. It's going to deny an A short, or well, pressure from A short, and this nade also definitely on point. Now, however, Sergis comes in it, and oh boy. You look surprised almost.
Hell line with the Kukli, and the time has now run out, and that means that Sergis loses the round as well. 9-6. A slight comeback, we dare to say, from HELLRAISERS, as you saw that immense streak coming down from Crazy. And it still seems like HELLRAISERS could be able to, at least with a pistol, bring it back quite easily. However, we are quite amazed so far by the performance of Crazy, doing really well.
Absolutely. On that T side here, you'd even say that on Mirage, or on Dust 2, you know, this is a map where there is still maybe a little bit of CT favor. It might not be as, you know, as obvious as a map like Nuke, but in general, Crazy should still, you know, or could still have underperformed a bit on the T side. But that doesn't happen this time. It's HELLRAISERS that now have a 3-round disadvantage. A problematic start from them on the second half. Also, I just noticed J-Lime, that was a jumping shot actually.
Yeah, of course, it was Kukli, just doing what he needed to do. And, well, we now do see that 9-6 scoreline coming in. Crazy, I think, rather happy by their winning performance so far, going over towards the CT. They win the pistol. They'll be golden to at least get quite a few more rounds in. However, the side of HELLRAISERS, they know that this is their map pick. They are pretty good on Dust. However, just a 46% win rate over the past 3 months. Over 28 maps, by the way. Almost their most played map apart from Train. But still, like, they don't feel as pressured, I would dare to say. Especially with the comeback now coming in. A little bit of momentum going their way. They just only need to be able to manage the economy on their opponent's side.
And I think if they can pull that off on the T side, if they can really put the pressure on HELLRAISERS, so to speak, if they can really show up there and prove to HELLRAISERS that, well, they do actually stand a chance. They can push it to that Train decider. That maybe, just maybe, if Crazy really does show up on Train, of course, has to be said, because Train, as you just put it, HELLRAISERS their most played map, and also, you know, a 25% win rate on that. That's a decent amount. That's good enough. That's workable. But still, I do wonder, you know, I do worry even. HELLRAISERS, they haven't really put down the best performance on the CT side, and with that, well, mediocre performance, yeah, I wonder how it's going to turn out. I really think that HELLRAISERS are going to have to put down something special. They're going to have to really do things differently on their T side now to start it off with.
Well, some damage already goes out. DemQ and Sensei both low as the Glocks will reign supreme on close range. JR peeks in so low, and he shouldn't do that. That means Psycho has the opening kill in favor of his team, and we will see eventually the rest of HELLRAISERS go towards that A side. Zerg is tapping away the P2K. Will not hit a single shot just yet, but he's looking for more, and he's getting a few chances as well. Gets one on towards Problem. Makes it in towards a 3-on-4 because Kalinka will get one back on towards DemQ, and he will try to flank on towards this short area. Ooh. However, Sensei with low HP still standing by, gets a clean frag in. And I say 2-on-4, and HELLRAISERS, now they're possibly doubting themselves because it's not really going too swimmingly.
No, it means that Crazy gets the double digits this time. And I'd say, you know, they're not even going to consider engaging on this anymore. It's not worth it for them, maybe. Although it's maybe also going to depend on this engagement here. If Sensei goes down, not quite though. He is super low HP. He's only got 8 HP points left.
If he would have jumped off the ledge, he would have actually died as well. Psycho, why would you go for the aggression in such a favorable position? Luckily, it's also working as a slide of bait for Toxic, which means they have a kill in return. But now it's a 1v3. Make it a 1v2 for Flarage.
Oh, no.
And he gets the first frag in. Sensei, as you said, very low, but both players currently in CT, one possibly to be singled out. He's trying to hold it very close, and there he goes. Now just try to be up across, try to get a bump in because time is running out, Flarage. You have to get something going, and probably your teammate is trying to call that as well. Toxic out of ammo. Now he does go for the plant, but it was a little bit late. And indeed, he will be just in time. Toxic close with the Glock, or at least the
noise
USB.
made.
And it will be Flarage indeed making a lot of noise, jumping down, and not expecting the player to be this close. That means a 10th round for Crazy, and actually the pistol going in their way. However, HELLRAISERS won the first one.
Yeah, this is incredibly hard fought now by Crazy. They do get the result, but hey, well played by them. You know, props to them, and this is maybe the good start that they need on their CT side to pull it through. And at this rate, if they keep it up now, who knows? Maybe they can make it a 16-6 over HELLRAISERS, kind of throw the ball back in their park and show them who's really boss.
That's a happy smiley, by the way, on towards the
Yeah,
box.
I know, right?
We're waiting for this round to really get going. Of course, a force buy from HELLRAISERS, having that bomb plant in their favor. But Flarage will go aggressive with the AK. Will be now Molotov. Goes slightly lower, not all too bad. As we're checking with Kalinka. Scout in hand. There will be 2 scouts, actually, on the side of HELLRAISERS. JR actually having armor with his. I know, it's really, really concerning, but it might work out. As we're waiting for the first real damage to come in from a bullet, rather than the fire already going down towards Flarage. Will he be expecting such a deep angle from Surgus? I'm not really sure. I wouldn't, but he will. It will be a clean headshot on towards the player, trying to play that latch, and he doesn't even deal a single point of damage in return. With now an A execute soon to possibly follow by HELLRAISERS, yet they only have 1 smoke on Kalinka, who's now setting it up from the T-spawn area, possibly to fake it out a little bit, that they're going for something different, as it will be actually a lower tunnel smoke. Now holding down the angle with the scout, will be able to take down DemQ. The rest of the team is now moving up. Problem also with an AK will take down Toxic. That means it's a 5-on-3. This might be a very competent buy back in towards, as JR will get 1 kill, but Psycho takes down Kalinka. He was the only player without armor, so he's expendable. Still, it will still hurt a little bit mentally.
Yeah, it's a shame to see yourself sacrificed to the wolves like that. Psycho and DemQ now taking, you know, the, well, save, understandably so. Not exactly the best weapons to take with you, but it beats nothing. You know, you have to make do.
Well, either they're forcing in the next round, which I could imagine because they have no loss bonus. Then having a scout and a FAMAS is way better than just pistols.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, well, that MP9 being traded out, which is a very sensible choice from DemQ. They might actually buy in towards some other SMGs later on, but still it's a 10-7, and the force buy from the side of HELLRAISERS working. That means from that pistol round on, Crazy wasn't able to, well, at least convert it into more success.
I was having a quick look, by the way, at the dashboard, and I'm afraid that however this rolls, however this runs, you know, I'm either, if Crazy needs to either finish this off in 6 rounds, for my one, well, bet on the total number of rounds to be correct.
Yes.
But then the problem is, of course, that my bet on map 2 and the entire match is wrong. So I'm on a loss-loss situation. Right now, though, HELLRAISERS doesn't look to be losing that much. They get 2 lovely opening frags. J Lime pushes ahead and gets the 3rd. Yep, there we go. Kalink, in the meantime, takes out Demo QQ and oh dear, or Dem QQ even. And now Sensei is left on the B-bomb side. He's standing. He's alone, crying in a corner.
All by myself.
Yes, exactly. And with that, HELLRAISERS gets 1 round closer to the, well, equalizer, because obviously, you know, there is no way possible that Sensei will still clutch this, and HELLRAISERS should be going for that plant now. And
well, now it still takes at least 10 seconds because they're only now moving on towards the side.
Yeah, but, you know, going for it at least. I was almost thinking they were actually going to hunt for the frags, that they just didn't want to bother. They just thought like, oh, you know what, we'll just find him, we'll just kill him, problem solved.
It would be the best throw in history.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that would be an instant investigation in towards match fixing, but luckily that is not the case right here, as Kalinka throws in the molly, tries to go for some pot shots, expecting Sensei to be on the backside box. However, he's playing close on towards tunnels, and he's just waiting. waiting to be peeked. And there will be players peeking him, yet possibly from the other side, and he might be expecting indeed. Flarich gets the frag with his AK, already of course from his force buy. And that means it's now 10-8. Crazy will go on an eco. And that is sad for them, and that means now 10-9 is actually an option. Unless if they can stack correctly and HELLRAISERS will fall. The problem is for Crazy that they don't really have the funds to go for a nade stack towards long doors, because otherwise they try to get maybe 1 or 2 kills there. Yet that investment is just a little bit too heavy for them at this moment in time.
Yeah, so we're seeing that clean eco save for the, I believe it's P250 in the hands of Sergers. That'll be something that he has to, well, at least try and show up with somewhere. They're going for a quite heavy mid and a short stack.
Also, players at those middle doors will be tagged up by the molly, but Psycho and his teammate also pushing up now from short. This might be a fury of frags coming in towards the favor of Crazy if HELLRAISERS doesn't really convert. Going to be Jay or Lime actually with the first frag problem, however, also being traded out. And what does this mean? AKs to be picked up, but luckily JR on range will be able to, well, just get some frags in return. Kalinka coming in to save one of those weapons. And JR desperately running, hoping to get one of his own, yet he won't. Still, it's going to be 10-9. Crazy now with a buy round, dealing some decent damage. Actually taking advantage of the greed of HELLRAISERS, and that's why Crazy wasn't afraid of a molly to come in. Because the moment the molly would hit, they knew the players would try to hunt, because that's what they always do.
Yep.
And that would also mean that there would be a chance for that short flank to work, and it did. MQ to be tagged up at the doorway once more on this cross. He will take some damage as, well, that molly didn't do anything. That's a very good shot right there for the player at the blue container. Psycho trying to fall back, but he still has Sergej's close by, so he needs to stay in a supportive role.
He needs to watch out as well, of course. This molly, for example, on Sergej's, cancelled out a considerable amount later compared to, I believe that was Jay Lime. Now he's pushing ahead. Could go for a spray down through the smoker if he wanted, or just a why?
Why is there not a flash being thrown? Psycho will go down, but Sergej will still get another before being traded out, and Sensei now on towards that A ramp, takes one of his own. JR trying to hold the crossing, will not connect a shot on towards the crossing player. That means now it's a 2-on-3 situation with JR and the Bob still having to move very, very far, and the moment he's still moving, Kalinka falls, and this might be a little bit of a throw coming in from HELLRAISERS.
Oh, no.
Which, well, we were afraid of, and that's a good shot. That's one. He tries to go for a second, but will be wallbanged by Toxic because apparently cars aren't bulletproof.
No, they aren't. I believe they, you know, the only way that makes me think of, I believe, what was it, Mythbusters way back? Do you ever see that episode where they put, like, telephone books into a car door to make it bulletproof?
Oh, I think I have.
Yeah, yeah. That's the only way, and I don't assume, you know, I don't think that's.
Well, maybe also with Kevlar.
Yeah, Kevlar works too. That might be a bit more efficient, you know. Honestly,
just things that I come up with, you know.
You are. Just,
I should be an inventor. It's possible, as we do see a scout from Sensei. A very good buy for the rest of his team. The Sergej will go down. Kalinka, two-man spray down, and that is a juicy start. At least a better start on towards a long than we expected, seeing the previous round turn out. Lime now on mid, should be wary of Toxic now crossing, but he doesn't even hold his weapon. Smoke towards to go towards mid, as they know 2 players have crossed. Freebie on towards the B side, and that means they will try to go for a plant and a clean round, still playing it a little bit more calm, hoping not to lose any of their value, because they need to also build more economy. Crazy just won a round. And now they're actually coming back, but still look at the reserves as well for HELLRAISERS. Flarich, almost 6,000. Lime on towards 22. Linka 4.5, and JR just about the same. That's rather decent from this point onwards, just looking at how they lost a round and now will be able to possibly have a clean round come in for themselves.
Rather decent is, I think, an understatement, really. There's plenty of work with there, and a loss now wouldn't even be the end of them, but right now, it's also looking like a loss really isn't on the schedule. You've got that pit position being held right now by Sensei, of course, along with MQQ coming through long doors. They are just saving this. There's no way that they would risk this, that they would try this, but they just have to make sure that they don't get pushed out. You know, you've got Flarich here, for example, And I don't believe that DemQQ is looking the right way. Yes, he is. And Sensei can get another frag along with DemQQ, of course. Flower taken out. And, ooh, it's an unnecessary bit of damage to HELLRAISERS at the end there. They, as you also put out, or as you also pointed out, they should be able to, buy through this. It's not the problem.
Easily.
It is just a shame, You've got your reserves. You'd rather keep them spliced up or spiced up even, rather than having to run through them rather immediately.
Well, it's going to be 11-10. Crazy. Of course, having those two M4s to work with. Curious to see what they bring to the table else. Maybe an eco around it, but, well, of course, you do now have those weapons, and it would be quite nice to have, as there will be a little bit of a pause called. You see them huddling up in towards the CT spawn, whereas the Ts, well, they might think they might be a little bit stinky and want to have a little bit more room for themselves.
Yeah, that could, that could be a solid.
You're sitting quite far away from me as well, so
social distancing.
Is this a? Oh well, that actually makes sense.
No, to be fair, seeing as we're in the car together, I don't think that really works that well. But
well,
it's a good thing we're both healthy, right? That's the most important thing, I think. And what also might be healthy is HELLRAISERS getting back to the equalizer, to the 11th round. Because Crazy right now doesn't look like they will be buying. They've got 3 flashes, 2 smokes, 1 nade. What are they going to do with that even?
Well, be happy. Don't worry, be happy, get frags. And, well, if they can bait HELLRAISERS once more, I think it will be quite alright. Actually,
okay.
that AK and M4, and then also a little bit of a pistol upgrade for both Surgates and Toxic that might work out, as Lime is peeking away from every nade thrown. And he will get some long controls, put some players out. The Surgates going low, and it's going to be at least close to a 5-4, yet no frags coming in. There will be a boost on towards short as well. 4 players around here, but nobody actually coming from that mid area for HELLRAISERS. There's just a little bit of commit going on towards long. Another bomb also being picked up, and utility soon to be exploited as well. The AWP of JR most likely to stay in pit. The rest will move up, and AK should still be in long as well to hold the angle, but there will be flashbangs coming in. Sergey standing by. Second smoke now coming out. There will be 1, there will be 2 flashbangs. DemQ with a frag will get 2 as well, but 1 is on a teammate. And that means that's quite an easy round for the side of HELLRAISERS to eventually convert. However, there's still a player in Merlin, and, well, Sergey, what can you do from this position? Having that little cheeky P2K, hoping to get a frag, but that's, I think, pre-fire from Lime to get a good kill in and leave only Sensei alive once more, trying to save his M4 and hoping that, well, from an equal score, they will be able to eventually get the lead once more.
Wow. Have you ever considered writing poems?
Yes, I have. I've actually done that in the past, but didn't make much sense. Oh, it's a very long time ago.
Like
in the Netherlands, you have a certain holiday, Sinterklaas, which is sort of like the Dutch Santa Claus. And
sort of, I guess.
Yeah, it's like the easiest way to go around. It's on the 5th of December, and, well, you write poems for the person you're giving gifts to. And it's so cute, and I was really good at that. Until one day, I was writing one, and I was like, oh, this is quite nice. And then the computer crashed, everything was gone. From that point onwards, I just detested it. It's like, I was so happy by the outcome, and then just everything gone.
The negative association of like, oh,
computer crashing.
The computer crashed.
No bueno.
I can't be bothered anymore. You know what?
Indeed.
Sod it. Just, wow. Yeah, okay.
It hurt my feelings as it was a perfect poem. Sensei now gets the first perfect kill on towards Problem, as it will now be Lime trying to get at least something in return, but his molly won't even connect. And that means it's a little bit of a, well, over-aggressive peak, possibly from both parties, as Toxics once again on towards mid. No weapon in hand to be taken out. Glinka a little bit cheeky there, going down on towards Circus. And JR could have pulled the trigger, but the molly was already at his feet, meaning he had to move off. Now we have that 4-on-3 situation. No player on site. Actually, no player on long as well for Crazy. And they're all actually in CT. Sensei going down, spray through the smoke, connecting for Flarage, and Lime also having another cheeky go, taking down Circus rather low as well. The problem is that from short, the site they actually planted for, there is a player coming. Make that maybe 2. And JR has to really focus on towards that area. Sergis coming from CT, coming in close, yet losing another teammate. And it will be Live taking down Sergis as well. Now they know where Psycho is coming from. This should be easy as he's just showing a little bit of his head. And Live will get the last frag as well. 12-11, HELLRAISERS finally getting the lead once more. And slowly but steadily, they're getting into it. We also know that Crazy has been showing strong at the start of this match, yet they were strong on that T side. And well, whatever team can be strong on the T side, the other team can be as well, and HELLRAISERS so far is showing that.
And here you see again as well, thanks to who, you know, that last round, for example, J-Lime really coming in clutch there, stronghold on the side along with JR. But let's see if HELLRAISERS can actually keep the hold of their sights. For now, you know, they just have to grab them first, of course, and really try and play out those after plants well. I'd say that they don't have that many problems with getting onto the side.
Oh no, the pistols are already working. Toxic gets a frag on towards Kalinka. And that is the first player collected for the side of Crazy. And, well, that worries me. Always. Whenever the opening kill goes in favor of a pistol, you know that usually there is more to come unless if HELLRAISERS plays together. But look at them being spread out. And it's just a risk for a player to go down and a weapon to be picked up by the side of Crazy. As Sergis also with a deagle, even a Crazy sticker on towards this as well, so he's ready to win.
HELLRAISERS are exceptionally spread out, though, and it looks like they've realized that and are now moving closer together. Of course, they are fighting against a pistol, and an AWP in the hands of JR, for example, won't be of too much help from close range. Let's see, though, we'll be seeing that execute towards the, well, A-bomb site coming out momentarily. As now, you can see utility flying in, smokes, etc.
30 seconds left as well. They really need to move, and there was a player actually boosted in towards CT. There's actually a player getting quite close in towards the smoke line.
Oh, no.
Being tagged up from behind as Sensei is standing by and now falls back. But Psycho also there will eventually go down to JR and his Glock rather than the AWP. It's a 4-on-3. Still a player lead in favor of Crazy. Now possibly also able to pick up a weapon from the first kill they got, but it seems like they're actually foregoing that, as there will be flashes being thrown out by the side of HELLRAISERS. There will be a boost coming down from Sensei, trying to spot out a T-side weapon bearer, but so far they're all playing a little bit more passive. JR now with a kill towards Sergis. There's a player actually at trash. It's JR with yet another frag, but one AK might be out of position, and I think they're trying to retrieve the one from Kalinka. As it's going to be DemQ also possibly getting a kill. Indeed, he will take down Flarich, and oh my god, they take down JR as well. And that is a very good trade. They're waiting for the bomb to explode, and then they're going to retrieve that AK. DemQ, of course, surviving and now picking up a weapon as well. That's a very good round for Crazy and HELLRAISERS.
But
that was disgusting.
What was Flarich doing there? Did you see that? He was just looking at the wall.
He was, I think, trying to check the CT corner if there would be a player actually in there. Yet, unfortunately, at that moment in time, there was a peek coming in from those USP players of Crazy. And JR wasn't really holding him off too well. May have actually missed a first shot and eventually got one kill. Yet, of course, we did see that AK go towards the Crazy side. AWP now trying to shoot out, but there's a player in lower tunnel. Will they be expecting this? Looking at the smoke, they shoot. As DemQ with the AWP will also fall back, as it is a double op setup for the side of Crazy, hoping to at least make a mark from the early stage of the round, with HELLRAISERS now going towards B, yet no mid-pressure established, and that means this will be a one-dimensional push in towards the scope of DemQ, possibly as the smoke will now come in. It's a little bit of a bait, of course, waiting out utility from their opponents. And it's going to be Kalinka moving up close now to be tagged up. There will be a spray from the M4. There will be a kill as well from Toxic. Now the push comes in. DemQ with the angle. Gets one before another flash pops. And now he will throw in a molly as well. Going for yet another frag. And so he will get one. Only Lime, a player, to get something in return before the round quite cleanly goes in favor of Crazy and HELLRAISERS. They will slowly be money struck. At least they can buy in towards this round. But the next, it might be a little bit of a problem, as that could also be the equalizer for Crazy in towards the later stage of this match. And, well, if it would be 13-13, I think there might be a very big problem for that T side, because then you know there will be economy on towards the Crazy side. You know they will be able to buy back whenever they lose a round, and that will be quite painful.
I'd say that this is insanity, to be quite honest, and that was a lucky dodge there by, I believe, DemQQ. just narrowly having the... Oh, Lord. Oh,
He's gone aggressive. They should have known this the previous round. They did the exact same. Of course, he wasn't being peeked out back then, but with that smoke being thrown, you know there will be a player there. So why don't you just angle a flashbang on towards the wall of the stairs, which is actually angled perfectly. So you can bank it off the wall, throw it in towards lower tunnel, and either damn QQ goes down, or you get a frag on towards him.
Well,
and
you're being far too sensible, clearly.
Ah, sorry.
That's, yeah.
I'm trying to.
Well, yes, but that's the whole problem. See, you think logically, and clearly HELLRAISERS have decided not to really apply their logic anymore. They're not playing as cleanly as they were, and I'd say this is even sloppy, their playstyle at the moment.
Well, sprays are coming down to be executed. This time, actually a split, and Toxic will take down Problem. It is a very clean round so far from Crazy. Not even a single player going down, and Kalinka now the AK. Most likely going for a save, I would guess. Because, well, otherwise, maybe if they now lose this round, they could go for an eco next and try to at least make something work, as Kalinka trying to cross safely along that T-spawn area, yet there was a player already in the flank. 13-13, equal score. Not the worst reserves on towards HELLRAISERS, and JR is already forcing it up. I'm not really sure if the rest of the team would agree, though. Because, well, Flares didn't have much money. Problem not too rich either, but Kalinka and Lane, they could actually make something work.
Probably are going to go for just the armor and the AKs. It's probably the utility that will be a little bit lackluster. Maybe that like one or two, like that one AK is sacrificed, but it doesn't look like it, judging by the way Kalinka just bought. I think this is going to be full AKs. The only thing that I would expect,
well, they don't
maybe
have the money for full AKs.
No. I think someone sacrificed maybe a Mac 10 or something, and some extra utility on top of it. Then that seems
Scout
like
possibly for JR.
Yeah, Scout would be Scout or something in that ballpark at least. That would be the sensible option. That would be expected.
Well, let's see if they can actually make it work. Possibly we'll go to another overtime. Something we have seen many of times so far in the Fight.gg Legend series. So it wouldn't be all too crazy. Crazy could, of course, still also win this map. And then we would go to Train, which isn't really in their favor win rate-wise. But then again, win rate-wise, HELLRAISERS should be able to do this. And indeed, we only see 2 AKs. Actually, an AWP on towards JR, which is intriguing because I didn't know he had the money for that. And then we see 2 pistol armors. Deagles for both Flarich and Kalinka with little to no utility. And well, it's going to be a very big stretch of the imagination if they are able to win this round. Sensei with the opening kill, and also DamQ following up, and Sensei with yet another kill for himself. Bomb dropped, and that means we now have a 5-2 in player-wise standing. Kalinka now moving up with the AK in hand, and well, Flash will also retrieve one, trying to at least make something work, possibly a bomb plan, because that would be huge for them, trying to at least alleviate some financial pressure going in towards the next round. Molly's behind them will mean that at least from short there won't be much pressure. And indeed, they will go for that plan 2v5. If they win this, I think Crazy is done for.
Yeah.
Yet I'm expecting Crazy to not throw this away, looking at the utility they have. Nate still on Sensei, some in Molly's as well, which now go towards that side, and Flash will be tagged up, going for a first fight on towards Long. Tries to tap it out. There's 3 players there. He gets all 3! It's Kalinka with a follow-up as well, and DamQ. How are they losing this? DamQ as the AWP now goes in with the P250. Play time, Flares. There's no reason to peek all too aggressively. He just needs to play it up to perfection. And off is coming in. It's going to be the 2v5 4K from Flarich. And HELLRAISERS win this round, and I can't even imagine how. Crazy on long, too busy using utility. And then all of the players lining up for one spray to come in. It's going, just look at them. First they're aiming. Now they're saying, oh, let's throw some utility, guys, let's go. And then, oh no, stress, let's line up. Okay, thank you. That's 4 kills coming in because Kalinka in the meantime also takes down 1. And that AWP can't do anything in return. It's the lead for HELLRAISERS. Yet, of course, Gracie still had some money. They will be able to buy back in. At least it's a full buy. But this shouldn't be how it should have gone. HELLRAISERS 3 players down, should have lost the round. Possibly shouldn't even had that bomb planned.
No, honestly, that round, that was already lucky that they managed to push that to a bomb plant, but then the lineup was just so good.
Oh, yes.
I could barely believe my eyes,
Like,
honestly.
the last player even ran into it, which was so kind as well. You shouldn't do that. It's a little bit painful. Let's see. Full buy from either party, apart from mine. Actually having that Mac 10 and a Galil for both Kalinka and Problem. Well, of course, they did take heavy losses and didn't have any real resources going in towards this round. But I hope that HELLRAISERS will play together, because otherwise they once more throw away a round. Damage being dealt on towards Problem. That is the player trying to contest from more the mid area, at least trying to distract Crazy a little bit. That will be the Mac 10 flying in. Very good refrags. That will be the side taken for the T side. And look at the positioning coming in from Crazy. They are already going for that save, knowing their reserves have taken a massive hit. And they will now having to go for a new round. And, well, Flarage, he's standing by, but I'm quite sure no player will check this, as Sergez is making quite some noise. And that's an easy frag to come in. However, a little bit of a wonky spray, as it is now going to be a 15th round for the side of HELLRAISERS. That is going to be match point. If they win this one, they will have to face Nexus, which so far in the past few times they have made possible, or at least made happen a few times. 3 map wins in the past week, so that should be doable once more.
This is just, I'm still kind of reeling from that spray down.
We still don't understand how that happened.
From Flarage. Also, this, let's just highlight again, HELLRAISERS, they've now reached map and match point.
Oh, yes.
Whilst it is close now, Crazy have put up a way better fight than they did in the last map. The last map was, of course, that 16-5 result in favor of HELLRAISERS. But now, like, I do really see it happening now that Crazy just, they don't have, like, the... Actually, okay, no, never mind. I was going to say they don't have the best buy, but this isn't a
well, their
perfect
save,
buy,
of course, really helped, and of course they had some reserves as well. JR going for the long peek. Ooh, getting a good tackle towards Sensei. Having to fall back and, of course, give over that long control in favor of the side of HELLRAISERS. Their T-side has been far from clean, but so far with some problems coming in from the Crazy side. They will lose more and more. How did DemQ survive? How does he deal damage? How is there another player coming in with a kill? It's Sergez getting 2 as Toxic also chimes in. And this might actually mean that another round will go in favor of Crazy. Yet, of course, we've seen a 2v5 be won before by HELLRAISERS. They still have long control. They still have that AWP. And they still have a teeny tiny bit of utility.
If they if they win another 2v5 now, I wanted to say something, like
Tilter?
Yeah, it was Tilter. Yeah, I wanted to say something like, I'll take off my shirt on stream, but
no, you can't do that.
I can't do that. I can't
Too much hair.
Yeah.
That would really mess up all the cameras.
That as well. Yeah.
Oh, flank is coming in. 3 players chiming from the side of Crazy. Toxic getting the first frag, and Flarage 1v5, baby. Nope. And that's a 4K from Toxic to come in, 15-14. And now we're wondering what the buy for HELLRAISERS will look like. Quite decent for some players, a little bit less for others, as the weapons are literally raining around in the CT side. So already someone being showered by M4s, I do believe. And well, Toxic doing well in towards this round. Also a nice white strafe on towards Flarage. And we do see a very likely chance of overtime once more, as HELLRAISERS is standing by AWP. Oh, the timing once more off. Now they know he should be in lower tunnel. Again, another shot just missing. Going close by DemQQ, as it will be Problem now. Molly's flashed as well. There will be a pressure also from the blue container. And I'm thinking, looking at this, we'll be going towards overtime. Crazy not being tilted, luckily, by that 2v5 lost. As now a B execute will come in from the remaining players. Line peeking in, but instantly Psycho will be ready to support Toxic. That means now we have 2 players towards this B side. More to follow suit. Oh, that's a 1-dig from Flarage. Oh, beautiful, as DemQ kills himself with a nade.
No!
Oh, baby. It's going to be a 2v3. It was a 2v5. But JR will fall to the AWP in a low HP Flarage. He most certainly can't make this work, right? Right? Well, we don't know until we see the next shots coming in. It will be Sensei getting the last frag as well. Flash trying to dodge around, but it will indeed be overtime. And Crazy so far being carried big time by Toxic.
Absolutely, you can see it as well. The disparity is just insane. Toxic far out, far up there with the 27 frags, the 27 kills. And honestly, the players on the Hellraiser side to highlight J-Lime and Kalinka definitely, but relatively consistent performance, except for Problem, who is kind of a little bit of a bottom fragger today. You could maybe you could ask, is he the problem?
Well, maybe it's also the IGL. I wouldn't know for sure, and that would usually mean that you're not always the heaviest fragger for your team. Well, let's see what this overtime will bring. Of course, the team's needing a little bit of a breather. Crazy, trying to recover from that 2v5 loss. Also this round, almost going the way of Hellraisers. And of course, Hellraisers trying to at least bounce back a little bit. Their T side, well, it's just not really been that strong, I have to say. Of course, they have had more rounds than on their CT side. But there were so many mistakes and so little pressure to come out, and with Crazy now with full funds, it's going to be quite easy for them to buy and most likely keep that pressure up with 2 AWPs of their own.
You can look at it from both ways, really. I think Hellraisers could just as easily have a good time trying to handle just full buys now. But really, I find it difficult to predict this overtime now. If you'd asked me, well, before, who would win an overtime between these two? Well, it would have probably said, oh, but Hellraisers wouldn't let it get to overtime in the first place. Clearly now, though, that has happened, and Crazy now has the opportunity to push this to a free mapper, There is really a chance for them there. And honestly, Crazy, they do deserve it for the valiant fight that they put up, for the amount of effort that they actually put in there. But Hellraisers, you'd expect them to want to play according to that track record, You'd expect them to want to keep beating Crazy in best of threes.
Well, we're waiting for the overtime to start. I'm worried for Hellraisers that we might go to a third map. Of course, Train, a pretty decent map for them. However, well, they would prefer to close it out right here because, well, they should be the stronger team. And losing a map towards Crazy might give them a sense of security, a sense of confidence to possibly be able to also win that third map. You don't want to give the team that usually doesn't perform all too well against you a chance to bounce back. So far, in the past few matches, Hellraisers has won 2-0, 2-0 twice in the best of 3. This should be another 2-0, or at least it seemed like it, if we looked at the statistics beforehand. But, well, now I'm doubting. Crazy looking a little bit better now.
You're unsure.
They have a very good chance. Their CT side seems to be becoming stronger and stronger by the minute.
And it is somewhat worrisome. It is also. I also immediately look. I predict Vi.gg that on Vi.gg that this would be, well, under 22 rounds basically. I was wrong.
Well, sometimes those things happen. Did you know that I once casted the Spanish Nationals, you had a toilet break thing? Well, it just happens again, as 2 of the players said, the pressure is building. Not just in the match itself, but also on their bladder. And sometimes you have to do something else. Well, I expected a 2-0 from Hellraisers, especially looking at the historical data.
Yeah, no, that was very sensible, honestly. That is, I think, the most logical thing to predict. And after the first map nuke, prediction there was, solidified. It was confirmed. It was looking like that would really be the result. But right now, I mean, Crazy, they have a good chance, I think, in overtime here of pushing this to a free mapper. And now I'm starting to really doubt Hellraisers, their performance. I'm not going to predict anymore that this will be another 16-5 or 16-6 if they do go to Train. If Crazy managed to push this to Train, I'd say, well, okay, clearly they've really managed to show up in Dust 2, so why won't they do it on Train? Why won't they actually, do their best and show up and maybe even beat Hellraisers? Against all odds, of course, against all expectations, and of course with a result that they'll be facing off against Nexus after this match.
I do think that if we go to the third map, we'll have to ask Ozzy Osbourne for his prediction because we're going to a Crazy Train.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Wow. I mean, it's a decent song, so...
It's a very good song. It's very nice.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable.
You were
sometimes, but I never see them coming. You always surprise me so much. It's like you just sideline me. It's like, huh, what? Ozzy Osbourne? Huh? What do you mean?
Out of nowhere, they just come straight into my mind and straight out of my mouth. The players of Hellraisers just doing a little bit of a quick wee, and then they will be ready, of course, for this overtime. Relieved, hopefully, to go in towards the rest of the match, but, well, maybe they won't be relieved after the match, because it's now getting rather close, 15-15. Overtime, of course, they will be starting on that T side, where they did get more rounds. But we have to say, some of those rounds weren't really actually supposed to go their way. A 2v5 being won by an insane spray coming out from none other than Lime, or actually Flares, excuse me, on towards the barrels area. Then also Kalinka collecting some players, and, well, HELLRAISERS are now also having some internet issues, so they're trying to reboot their router as well. So there's a little bit of an extra delay.
Yeah,
looking at this overtime, are you saying Crazy will win, or are you still betting your money on towards HELLRAISERS?
I think that HELLRAISERS still have a solid chance to win this overtime. Honestly, I'm still, sort of expecting them to be the better team, to really still show up actually and improve themselves. I look at certain situations where HELLRAISERS can still really turn around to their hand. For example, that spray down from Flourish, actually, like you highlighted yourself. That's a solid one, but in general, I think HELLRAISERS, they should, as a team, have that somewhat better skill and that capability. But right now, of course, I'd say it's gonna be a tough one, I think. I don't think this is gonna be some like instant 1915 boom done dusted overtime. I think that Crazy will probably grab a round or two.
Well, it's time to get his overtime going. HELLRAISERS, of course, on towards that T side. I would dare to say they might just need a B rush to work with, because they've never done that. They've never put pressure on towards B early, and usually from Crazy, you only see one player standing there. It could work, it could help, and especially if DemQ kills himself with a nade, there could be a chance for them to come in and get some frags, and possibly also, of course, the round. It's going to be a double AWP coming down from Crazy, as we would have expected. DemQ and Sensei both picking one up, but also a double upset from the side of HELLRAISERS. Both Problem and JR picking one. And as Problem wants to go aggressive towards that A-long area, he will be tagged up by a molly, and then eventually will fall back a little bit later. Sometimes, at least if you have enough money, you would possibly throw down an AK to try to bring down at least a little bit of a swap, and Problem has done just that. And that means that HELLRAISERS has invested quite heavily towards this round. Winning the round will be at least a nice thing to have, at least security that Problem won't be out of money.
Yeah, we'll see how this pans out for them, though. Executor's definitely now coming towards the bomb site, and we see Kalinka getting up here, but there's a serious smoke war going on, and the hold from Toxic is there. JR can refrag, and with that, now it's somewhat chaotic on the bomb site. Oh, but DemQQ, is he gonna... I thought for a moment that he was realized he ran into someone, but now J-Lime here, there's a kind of HELLRAISER presence on the bomb site, but the smokes, are they dissipating? Now they are. JR gets the frag because of that, and DemQQ goes down. Now they are regaining that bomb site control. They are completely claiming it and throwing down that bomb eventually.
That took his sweet time, as Sergeys is now also flanking from the tunnels. JR standing by, spotting the player, will be shoulder peeked. There will be some damage going down. It's Kalinka on the backside, dealing another shot. There is little dealing, or at least damage dealing utility, as Kalinka takes down one, but Sergeys actually had a molly as well. JR with the turnaround on towards Psycho, only Sensei alive. And that means it's now a 1v3. JR taking it down, and Sensei will eventually fall. 16-15. HELLRAISERS starting off well, but I think they need to have all rounds on the T side to make it work. Because CT side, they will still have trouble. The CT side so far on this match has resulted in 6 rounds for both teams. So you would say, well, it's a 1-on-3 round. Yeah. Maybe, but still it's going to be hard. You need to win all T side rounds, then you at least have a very good shot of winning the match as well. P90,
oh, P90. Let's go. Okay, Problem.
That's a B rush I was looking for. Yes, they're doing it.
Let's go.
They're doing it, and they're moving in. There's only one player. One is trying to move in, but look at the P90. Not getting the kill, but Kalinka will. But the P90 at least a very good distracting factor, and that is the B rush I was hoping for, because they haven't done it yet. Now they go B twice, it works. Flareage eventually now with a little bit of a smoother entrance towards the bomb site, and they also get the plant in. Most likely no more contests from Crazy. They're trying to save that AWP because, of course, buying AWPs on that CT side as well, those M4s, will be quite heavy investment, especially also on towards overtime. And this means 16 to 15 will turn into 17 to 15. And, well, HELLRAISERS not a care in the world about money.
I guess that rapid B play really, just works a charm. Oh, Sensei here. He tries, and he does eventually succeed. J-Lime gets taken out. JR in the meantime, though, gets Surgiz. Sensei goes for the second one. Problem now playing it safe in tunnels, waiting to be peeked, and he should see him first and does get the frag. Psycho down, and then Sensei is the last man left standing. Oh! Problem goes down at the end, and at least JR manages to preserve the AWP.
I do believe there was a player actually going down to the bomb as well from HELLRAISERS.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of
really?
oopsie. Yeah, I think there was
Wasn't
one.
Problem the last man left standing?
It seemed like it.
Yeah, I thought that was the case. At least unless I'm blind.
Well, things happen, and well, we do see Crazy now trying to fight back on the last round of this CT half.
Oh,
auto
sniper!
Of course, you have the money. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Problem is, you won't hit a single shot. As we now see JR swapping around towards the AKP. 90 rush once more. There's two players standing by. Oh, Toxic will get a double, but it will be Kalinka once more to open things up. We now at least have a 3-on-3, a better situation for the side of Crazy. And they're also a little bit quicker on the rotate. Players moving in solo will now plant behind this little bit of a pillar. There will be nades trying to contest him. There will be some damage done. Also the molly dealing quite a significant bit. But there is still some delay utility coming in from HELLRAISERS, which of course you still have left because you go for that rush. All the players coming down from that mid area. And they might have a hunch from the side of HELLRAISERS, as now there will be a flanker coming in as well. But will the flanker be in time? Kalinka has already got a triple kill. Will go for a third, will go for a four. Will he get the ace? No, Sensei will be getting one kill, but it's a 1v2 in time. It is sticking out. It will be a clean half so far for HELLRAISERS, and it will be one in the end as well. 18 to 15. This is what I told you. This is what they need to eventually make it work. And, well, Crazy. There's all to play for, but they now have a match point against them.
And now they can actually get this in just one round. And the advantage for them, of course, being that they do have 3 chances now to play it out. They've got the money, etc. They're starting on a new half. So that's not a worry. Kalinka here with definitely the clutch play, I'd say. That double kill that he got there really turned the round into, well, HELLRAISERS' hand. Even if it was perhaps already, the plant was already down, it was a 3v3, At the end, Kalinka there making a very critical play that has to be highlighted, that deserves the praise. And now HELLRAISERS on that CT side, so let's see how good their hold on the sites is.
I now want to see Crazy rush B as well.
I don't, do you
Because
think?
I don't think HELLRAISERS would be prepared. They wouldn't expect that.
Do you think they would?
They could. Why wouldn't they? Well, at least this round they won't, but it would possibly be a decent strat to play against what HELLRAISERS just did. Say, well, we're learning from you. You will use your utility. And look at that. HELLRAISERS also playing with a single player on the B side from the get-go. So, of course, it will be hard as now JR also goes down to Sensei. There's a chance, a very good chance, rather, for the side of Crazy. As Kalinka also fails, and he will go down towards Surgiz. This might be a first round back for the T side.
Could very much be the one. J-Lime here coming out. Dempsey should spot him. He does get the frag, actually. Now just rotated there. Second one for him, but it is Flowridge going for the re-frag. Problem being, Flowridge is the last man left standing, so at this point, there's not that much more he can do. Besides, fall back into tunnels, perhaps go take a look-see at the B site. See what's happening over there. See what's new. And, you'd have kind of hoped that he would have been able to go for the spray down, but never mind. Even that's apparently too high hopes.
Well, one big thing for me is that I'm not really sure why Kalinka is constantly picking up the AWP. Don't get me wrong, he's the star player so far for the side of HELLRAISERS. Yet, he's been better with a normal rifle than the AWP so far. With the AK, just opening up things time and time again. Also, now on towards the AWP, not really hitting his mark. And we've seen that before in the normal CT side. So I just prefer to see him on an M4, possibly going a little bit aggressive as well.
Yeah, I do understand what you're saying. Kalinka is maybe not the best person to have an AWP in his hands. Not the best person to really run around with that weapon. And I'd say with the spray downs that we've seen coming from him sometimes, he definitely would lean more to a rifle. Got a slight technical pause coming in now, of course, from the HELLRAISERS side. Maybe, just maybe, in a slight tilt, someone smashed their desk too hard.
Well, they had internet issues before, so it might be that those are returning.
Why did you miss that shot? Well, you know, he desynced.
Lag. Oh, do you need to reboot your modem? Oh,
yeah.
That's a very good idea. I will do just that, I think, as well. So far, it's been crazy doing some really good stuff as well. I'm really positively surprised so far by what they've shown on towards this map. The previous one, 16-5 on Nuke, was a little bit of a, well, what to say, bad moment for him.
Yeah. They've come back. They've
Yeah.
recovered from that. Oh, yeah, now we can actually see one of the HELLRAISERS players going boop and gone. I believe that's not JR. Kalimka.
They're all gone.
Oh.
Their
okay,
internet completely died. Maybe they're all...
Boot camp could?
Yeah, well, maybe
That's
they're
likely.
in the gaming house because, well, they're trying to, of course, make their mark. And if you're wanting to be the best team in the world, or at least get up there,
Playing together is essential.
Well, playing full-time is most essential. That's something we've had in the Benelux region, the region we're from as casters.
Yep.
Some teams are always saying, like, it's really hard for us to get in towards the MDL League, purely based on that we can only spend next to our normal day jobs. It's like 6 hours, possibly. And then you're really stretching it as well, and then losing some sleep.
And
if you then go up against teams that are able to prac and play and constantly push every day, then of course you will be most likely further ahead.
Yeah. And yet it's a very much of a time management problem, you know, and you know, you say put 6 hours on it a day, and I even think that 6 hours that's almost insane, you know. I mean, imagine having a social life, right? That'd be silly.
Well, who even does that? Like,
Yeah.
it's so overrated.
No, but
Do you have a social life?
Sometimes when it's convenient. HELLRAISERS now, though, they'll be getting back any point soon, and otherwise, who knows? Easy win for Crazy, but now we can see the players coming back.
Maybe the manager was mad. He said, "You don't play well, you don't get internet."
Yoink! Gone with the cable. Yeah, that's possible.
That's what you get when you don't make it into regular time wins. Well, at least it is still going to be match point for HELLRAISERS. They have another shot if they lose this round as well. So there's no real pressure, or at least there will be pressure. Yet
the pressure is
too
on.
much stress.
But indeed, HELLRAISERS, they've got 2 more shots in this first overtime to actually win this back, to actually make this the 2-0 that they obviously so heartily desire.
They're longing for it. They want it. Maybe they will get it, but first the players need to be back. RJ, who's been your star player so far for HELLRAISERS and why?
Ooh, I find it difficult to say as well, because I've really noticed with HELLRAISERS that everyone kind of shows up when they have to.
Very politically correct.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, I'm considering, I'm going over them. J Lime. No, actually, I'm going to go with Kalinka.
All right.
Yeah, he's really got those lovely 2 and 3Ks when he needed to.
His opening kills in this overtime at least have been stellar.
Exactly.
And, well, maybe besides that, you would possibly say Flarage, because of course he's also got a very instrumental free-man spraydown in a 2v5 round win. And, well, but maybe Kalinka seems to be the stronger party as this moment will finally come that the players are joining back, and, well, some join, some drop. From the Crazy side of things, I'm saying that Sensei currently has just done a really good job.
Yeah.
Especially putting down pressure, yet Toxic, rifling-wise, has just been stellar. The problem is, on their CT side, he's been caught out without a weapon multiple times. If he didn't do that, I think it would have been an easier win, possibly a regular time win for Crazy to come in.
Maybe, just maybe. What I've also noticed with Sensei is that he stays alive quite a lot. You know, he's usually the one that really lasts out until the end of the round. And of course, now that's not always the best thing, because sometimes that just means that he's the one saving. But yeah, he gets all. I think he has the somewhat similar capability like Kalinka to get the important frags. You know, when they're needed, when the team really wants him and needs him.
The pressure is on.
He can put the pressure on indeed, and he can really show up. Can go a little bit crazy. But right now, maybe the Crazy players are actually going crazy, because in a way you have to look at it like that as well, right? It resets you in a way. If you've got this delay put in now, if you have to wait, if you're just sitting there and thinking, okay, Yeah, technical pause. And of course, we don't know for certain, you know, if with a technical pause they can actually talk to each other.
Well, you're always trying to fix a problem, and it seemed like HELLRAISERS, all of their internet died because they all just disconnected at the same time. So you would say that might be a problem. And, well, you don't really have the time to then talk things over, work things out in your advantage. And eventually, well, with the players now being back, they're trying to check if at least all their connections are stable, and then we will soon try to get back in towards this match. It's going to be so far crazy on their first T-side round, doing really well. But I'm not sure if they will be able to hold on for a longer time, as HELLRAISERS, well, they are on match point. They need yet one round to bring it into a 2-0 win. And if they would do that, I think they'll be quite happy and will be saying, all right, thank you very much. And then we go up against Nexus, and against Nexus, they've already won a few times.
Absolutely, there's a solid chance there, and I do think that would be also a very interesting matchup, to be honest. A very close one as well, most importantly, where we could see, of course, you say that HELLRAISERS, they have won against Nexus, of course, in the past.
3 times this week, or at least 3 maps.
Okay, case in point. Maybe, just maybe, you know, Nexus with this, how do I say it, newfound crowd support, and maybe with having conquered a place in our hearts with their admirable performance. Just maybe that might be the motivation that they need to stretch them over the just over the line and really get them to be on point.
I'm also thinking that we will have to reset the round as well, due to all the players already buying up and currently possibly not having their armor, because they're all at a different position now. So most likely they will have to come in, and then we'll have to check if indeed HELLRAISERS will be able to close things off. So far I'm saying yes, just because it's one round, and indeed we will have that round reset to come in. Then there will be the buy from HELLRAISERS, and then we should be able to get going in no time at all.
Yep.
RJ, would you expect Crazy to then now go for a B rush? Because why not? It would work, possibly, you know.
It's worth a try. You can. I think Crazy would have a, you know, it wouldn't hurt for them to try to really just up the momentum against HELLRAISERS and try and sort of,
especially after a break.
Yeah, sort of like indeed after a break, and sort of counter them with that. You know, like HELLRAISERS might not expect them to really go just all out and really for a rapid execute. You know, also it does look like they kind of spawned for B, to be honest, with like those 2 players leaning to the left. So that would mean that they have a solid, definitely. That
Toxic is feeling it.
Yeah, that would mean that they definitely have a solid chance to actually rush that B side. Just have to have the utility on point. They've got the open skybox for it nowadays. So maybe we'll just see that cheeky B rush go in there. I would honestly not mind seeing it happen.
Well, we do see Psycho also standing by the time. We will now run out of sniper as well to hold off the cross and possibly deal some damage on towards the Hell side or HELLRAISERS players. Will be a slight tag on towards Kalinka once more, holding the AWP, but there will not be a B rush coming in. A long control being granted towards that CT side, using 4 players, then now moving off. If it would have been a B rush, it would have been a granted round, because there is nothing that one player can do, which is of course Kalinka with an AWP. Also JR, once more picking up the long-range weapon, hoping to at least get an open kill for himself or his team, as Lime is trying to play around those double doors, not having support. And this is what really makes it scary, because look at the pressure also coming down from the HELLRAISERS side. That smoke, partially of course to make it possible to go towards short, but also to bait out some fire. If there's a player or an AWP close, you know it. Now you know that if there's 2 players firing, there might be 1 on the B side. There will be less players on towards A. JR being flashed out, now also being, well, almost hit by the AWP. Deals some damage on towards Sensei, now holds for a different angle. Will use some utility himself, trying to slow down as well. It's going to be JR peeking in and then falling back. That's a very good information play. And they're now also slowly dwindling down the time. That's something that Crazy really struggled with as well on towards their T side. Time management. Often losing a round due to the time running out, as JR standing by, anti-flash for himself. Utility now flying towards the side, and all players of Crazy trying to chime in as well. JR still holding the angle, still players standing by, flashbang coming in. Sensei will get a first frag, Surges as well with a follow-up. It's a 5-on-3 situation with a short plan to come in, and there's nothing that HELLRAISERS is currently able to bring in to try change the outcome of this round. It's going to be problem. Standing by, also going down to the AWP of Sensei once more, coming in huge for his team. And this might mean we'll go to the last round of this overtime. And indeed we will, because it seems like HELLRAISERS is trying to save players being spotted out. Kalinka just a little bit too much input for his sake. As well, that means 18-17. Possibly a double overtime if Crazy does make it back.
We'll have to see. Flaric here can get one more frag, but they're going to hunt him down now, obviously. Shouldn't be a financial thing, Flaric even getting a second one there on Circus at the end, but Toxic does kill him, and with that, Crazy grabs the 17th round. HELLRAISERS still have one more shot to actually win this out. They have one more shot now to go for this map win. Of course, if they don't, then it will be Crazy that get the 18th round, and we'll be going into a second overtime. And, well, we predicted, well, I predicted 3, a modest prediction. So, it could, you know, they could make it happen.
Could be here all night, indeed. Well, there will be only one AWP on towards HELLRAISERS this time around, as the Auto Sniper once more will sing true on towards the map of Dust 2.
But such a heavy A-long presence by HELLRAISERS every time, just throwing all possible utility there.
Well, that's because Crazy, in their regular time T side, actually went for long control almost every round. They set 4 players there. And it seems like HELLRAISERS is trying to disrupt at least that part of their plan. And they are, but Crazy isn't really contesting it either. So it doesn't really matter what they're doing. It doesn't really bode or at least give them any advantage. JR standing close by. Once more expecting a short push, and it seems like Crazy is going for it. You would maybe then try to gamble another player on towards that area, yet it's a little bit too risky, and you will still need 2 on towards B in case they want to rush down mid all of a sudden. There will be a run boost. JR going for the big lane, will get 1 kill. Sensei as well, taking down JR. It's again a favorable position in favor of the side of Crazy, but Kalinka gets 1 in return. And possibly Flaric here on the side will not be contested. There's a bomb drop. And the last 2 players currently on towards short have to call back as well. As Kalinka tries to go for another spray, it will be Flaric with yet another frag, but he will fall to damn QQ 1v1.
Playtime.
And Kalinka can play time, but he goes for the peek, he goes for the kill, and they will win it in the end on the side of HELLRAISERS, 19-17. Yet it was quite a struggle, more so than it was on the previous map of Nuke. That was a 16-5 win in favor of the HELLRAISERS side. And well, in overtime, they won it. Still 2-0 map scores coming in now 3 times in a row on towards Crazy. And well, I'm a little bit sad for Crazy, but I'm happy that at least our prediction was right.
Yeah. That is, you know, that is one of the most important things, right? That we get it right. At the end, though, that looked really close to Crazy there.